Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Stupendous Wave, and I am back again with another TV spot breakdown slash review of Star Wars The Force Awakens, and this is TV spot number 6 according to CBR trailers. The link to the TV spot will be in the description down below as always, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we get to see, as always, is we always touch on the audio first. We always talk about the audio that we get to hear before we actually go into what we see in the trailer. So in this specific TV spot, we get to hear Finn, and he says, "You don't know a thing about me, what I've seen, we all need to run." Now, as far as where he is, I'm not exactly sure. He could be with some Resistance members that are questioning his loyalty, since we know that he is a stormtrooper, or a former stormtrooper, we should say, turned Resistance member, turned possible Jedi in the future, which is really cool, and that's why Finn is awesome. And I love this trailer, first off, because it focuses around Finn, and that's something that I think that we should see more of, because really, for those of you that have been watching all of the TV spots, they've really been Rey-centric, and it's nice to get one kind of focusing on Finn here. I'd like to see one that focuses on Kylo Ren. But getting back to the TV spot itself, like I said, I think that when Finn is saying these things, like saying "you don't know a thing about me," I think someone at some point questions his loyalties. I don't think it's going to be a core character, because obviously we see Rey and Finn working together, and Han and Finn working together. But I think it's someone else, another Resistance member, that questions Finn's loyalties, and he says, "You don't know a thing about me, what I've seen, you all need to run." And I think when he says we all need to run, he's referring to specifically Kylo Ren and what he sees Kylo Ren do initially on Jakku that really motivates Finn to want to desert the First Order and go find Rey and join the Resistance, essentially, is where he ultimately ends up. And like I said, I think that when he says you all need to run, you don't know what I've seen, he's specifically referring to what he saw that night on Jakku, where he, I believe, was one of the stormtroopers initially on that night raid, and what he saw Kylo Ren do, the atrocities that Kylo Ren committed that we haven't seen yet. We've just gotten bits and pieces of it. So now that we've talked about the audio, let's go ahead and talk about some of the new imagery, some of the new scenes that we got glimpses of in this new TV spot. So the first new shot that we get to see is of a stormtrooper, and he actually looks to be startled by an explosion that happens in the background. Now, this is on Jakku, and we see that the stormtroopers are investigating the different people that are on Jakku in this little town area that we've seen before. And I believe that this stormtrooper that we actually get to see here is Finn, and he's really experiencing the evil of the First Order for the first time. So really not a whole lot to talk about in this screenshot or this moment in the TV spot. But nonetheless, very interesting. Like I said, I do believe that this is Finn here, and we can actually see a stormtrooper in the background investigating some townsfolk on this this little town civilization area in Jakku. So the next thing that we get to see, obviously new, is Finn, and he's explaining to someone that we talked about earlier that they don't know him, that they don't know what he's seen, and we just kind of get to see this here. We do see that he is wearing Poe Dameron's jacket that we know that he either gets from Poe Dameron or takes from Poe Dameron at some point in the movie, so that he will blend in more and not obviously stick out like a sore thumb in his stormtrooper armor. So that's really interesting. Again, not something new. The next new shot that we get to see is we get to see a different angle of what we talked about in the last TV spot, and that is actually what I believe now to be Maz Kanata's castle and the Resistance base being attacked. Like I said, I stated earlier that I do believe that Maz Kanata's castle and the Resistance base are one and the same, that Maz Kanata kind of is not really a member of the Resistance, but she's helping them. She allows the General Leia, Admiral Akbar, of the other members of the Resistance to reside in her castle here, and we do know that it is, of course, here being attacked by TIE fighters of the First Order, and this is actually Rey that we see at the bottom right-hand screen that we got to see in the last TV spot. It's just a little bit more, it's from a different angle, and of course it is crumbling the First Order seems to be doing a really good job destroying that castle. So let's go ahead and move on. Next, we get to see Finn, and he's looking up at something. It looks like he's headed into a ship or something like that. I know this isn't the first time that we're seeing this shot. It was actually in a Disney Channel promo, but this is the first time it's appearing in an actual TV spot, and I figured I would touch on it here. As far as what he's looking at, I have no idea. It could be a million things, but it's cool to see, again, Finn in a more Finn-centric TV spot. Next, we actually get to see Kylo Ren present where the battle took place that we've been seeing throughout all the trailers on the Resistance base planet, where eventually the X-Wing cavalry comes and attacks the First Order and all the TIE fighters. Now here, this actually looks to be the aftermath of the battle. We see stormtroopers in the background looking like they're actually conversing with each other rather than being active in a war zone here. But it's cool to see that Kylo Ren is here. Again, throughout all the fighting that we see later on in this TV spot and that we've seen from the other trailers, it actually doesn't appear that Kylo Ren takes place himself in the fighting, but he's kind of shown up here afterwards to kind of learn what's going on. But it's cool to see that he is here eventually, and I believe that this is the aftermath of the battle that, again, we've seen throughout the other trailers with the X-Wings and the TIE fighters, and Finn with his lightsaber on the ground, and Han and Chewie, and basically all of our main characters. And again, this is just kind of the aftermath of that. So the next little bit of a scene that we get to see in this TV spot is amazing. It's perfect, and it's of Finn, and we can see that he has his lightsaber here, and that a stormtrooper actually pulls out what looks to be like an electro staff, and we see here that it's not actually a riot trooper that pulls it out, but just a stormtrooper who was equipped with like a staff that's capable of deflecting a lightsaber, which is really cool because that's never something that we've really got to see in the movies. We've seen it in the EU and in video games, but it's cool that we get to see it here, and it shows that the stormtroopers have kind of adapted. They're ready for their confrontations with the Jedi. We know that one of their main motivations, especially Kylo Ren, is to go after the Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker, so it's completely plausible that they would be prepared for it and have here what I'm just going to be calling an electro staff, since it's really a new device that we are seeing in the Star Wars universe. And a little bit of extras for this screenshot in particular. To the left, we see what looks to be the foot of a dead stormtrooper and a TIE fighter in the background. And the very next shot we get to see is a great shot of Finn with the lightsaber. Again, in the background, we see a stormtrooper there. But we know that Finn is getting ready to engage this stormtrooper with the electro staff. Very, very excited to see this confrontation. And Finn really looks like he goes at it. This staff, this weapon here, is pretty interesting, pretty cool. Like I said, this does appear to be an average stormtrooper, not a riot trooper. So I'm wondering to myself if all the stormtroopers are outfitted with this weapon in case they come into conflict with Jedi. I do think that coming into conflict with the Jedi would be exceedingly rare during this time period, since, as far as we know, Luke is the only Jedi left. But since kind of what we've heard from other stuff, from toys, is that Luke being the only Jedi left, that's kind of the main purpose of the First Order, to hunt down and kill the Last Jedi. So again, it would make sense that they would be prepared to meet him and have weapons that could combat that. But here we get to see Finn go up against this stormtrooper. Really, really cool. Like I said, the highlight of the TV spot for me, hands down. And I assume, and we can all assume, that Finn is going to come out on top here in this confrontation. But it's very, very cool, and let's go ahead and talk about what comes next. So the next stuff that we get to see is with Finn and Han Solo, and Han Solo asks Finn, "You sure you're up for this?" And Finn just says, "Hell no." And I'm sure that's pretty much how we all would react in this situation. I'm not exactly sure what they're going out to face, but it's probably First Order related. And of course we can see Chewbacca there to the right of the screen. So that's really cool. Now, I love seeing Han Solo back here sneaking around. It just brings me back memories of the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope. how Han Solo and Luke were sneaking around the Death Star. That's kind of what this is reminding me of, with Han Solo here and Finn sneaking around, and Han Solo just being like, you ready? And Finn just being like, no. I think that that's really funny, and I think that that's something that this movie's gonna have going for it, is a lot of humor, and I'm very happy about that. And the next little bit, we get to see inside the Millennium Falcon. It looks like it actually turns upside down, and BB-8 just goes flying around with it. And again, it's more of a little moment played up for comedy. Again, BB-8 being the cute little droid that it is, just kind of freaking out for a second. But that's really about it. And then, of course, the last little thing we get to see is Finn go, woo! Like, he says it with a lot more charisma and way more excited than I just did it. But he's happy. He probably shot down a TIE fighter. Again, this looks like he's on Jakku, and we saw this mostly in the last TV spot with him and Rey, and they are both saying, I can do this, and I assume that Finn was able to successfully shoot down a TIE fighter in the scene. So yeah, that's basically it for the TV spot. Thank you guys so much for watching my breakdown of it. Overall, as far as a review goes, I can confidently say, in my humble opinion, that this is the best TV spot that we've gotten to see. I feel like the last 3 TV spots, or all of them that we've gotten to see really, have been very Rey-centric. They've been all about Rey, and it's great to see one about Finn. Very, very relieving, and I can't wait to see one possibly about Kylo Ren or another one about Finn. Finn is really one of the great mysteries of The Force Awakens, and someone that we don't really know a whole lot about, which is great. That's fantastic. That's what you want in a new Star Wars movie. So anyway, perfect TV spot. Loving the lightsaber combat. Love to see Finn with the lightsaber go up against that stormtrooper. And that's all I have to say. All around, fantastic TV spot. One of the best TV spots so far, if not the best. So anyway, guys, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and as always, have a great day, and may the Force be with you.